Their party is being taken over now. I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too.
The far left is on the rise, but liberal comedian Bill Maher just called them out. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on news, politics, media, internet insanity, and more. We're going to check in with Bill Maher, host of Real Time on HBO, who is of course liberal and democratic leaning for sure and very anti-Trump, but also pushes back on the far left. I almost said fringe. But they're not really a fringe anymore, or at least not for long. They're on the rise, very much so. But he was on ABC News with Jonathan Karl over the weekend, and there's a clip going viral because Bill Maher did not pull any punches and was unsparing in his criticism of the rising DSA, or Democratic Socialists of America, aligned left, and he made a very important point. Let's listen.
Democrats are cowardly.
Yeah.
They're cowardly. Their party is being taken over now by... every day I hear about a new, very radical. I feel very good about, like 10 whenever years ago, like I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too.
I'll just pause on this and say he did. He got a lot of backlash for speaking out against the progressive flank. And oftentimes you would hear this retort that was like, stop, it's just college kids. It's just crazy college kids. Oh, college campuses have always been crazy. You're focusing on this too much. This is just a small minority. It's like, no, babes, it was going to spread. And now we have the Democratic Party being taken over by an anti-American extremist group, the DSA, which we will go through their new agenda as well in this video to back up some of what Bill Maher gets into. But it's genuinely authoritarian, revolutionary, and dystopian stuff. Anyway, we'll keep going here.
Too. I didn't change really on what I thought about the right, but just I can't sit and just not notice stuff, which people seem to want to do because it's all about my team or your team. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff. When we're cheering for the Intifada, I gotta cut. I'm out.
You told J.D. Vance you're open. Your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll say that that's a big deal from him. He's been a very loyal Democrat for many, many years. So to even say that is remarkable. Now, elsewhere in the interview that I didn't clip, he explains why he's actually unlikely to support J.D. Vance, partially because of his persistent refusal to acknowledge the truth that Biden won the 2020 election and other things. And so I doubt he would ultimately end up pulling the lever for the Republicans. Maybe he'd just, vote third party or be independent. But the fact that it's even in play tells you something like very significant, that he really thinks the party is shifting from underneath him.
Oh, I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism, So I think the Democrats will do very well in the midterms. 2028 is a different story because by then, this wing of the party, this new wing with all the energy, and it's not just a few people anymore. Every day I read about a new person in some Colorado and Wisconsin, somebody who is saying some variation of not defund the police, abolish the police. No prisons, no police. Like, what world do they think we could possibly live in under these conditions? It's just a level of nutty that I'm so glad that whenever it was, I was like, no, I'm not going along because this is where it ends.
This is where it ends. And it actually, I think, vindicates calling out some of the stuff that he's called out. And people were like, oh, don't worry about it. That's not what most Democrats believe. It's okay. Well, you have to stop the rod before it spreads. And they totally failed to do so. And that's why we are where we are at now. Now, some people will hear Bill Maher say, like, it's actually communism, or like they want to abolish the police. And they'll be like, you're doing them dirty. You're caricaturing them. That's a straw man. They just want they just want social democracy. They want to be like Sweden. They just want more welfare, higher taxes, but they believe in liberal democracy. No, they don't. You're kidding yourself. The Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, which is this group that is pushing this movement. Hassan Piker is their big ally. They've gotten all these congressional candidates that are about to be elected. Zohran Mamdani, the new star of the Democratic Party, is like this with them. And increasingly, even like establishment Democrats are afraid to speak out or condemn them because they have the motion. They are the rising force in the party. Well, they just released a new agenda, and it is even more radical and insane than the one they already had. You'd think when you're like finally gaining a like mainstream relevancy, you might like tone it down a little bit or try to consider the optics of some of the shit you're saying and putting out there. They were like, nah, hold my beer. It really is remarkable. I'm just going to go through it quickly, but I read it through this morning. It's called Workers Deserve More, by which they seem to believe like just everyone can have everything they want all the time for free with no costs or trade-offs, and it will fund it all from just the magic money tree. And again, I really try to analyze politics and policy debates in good faith and to not just dismiss or beat up a simple, dumbed down version of what the other person is saying. That's impossible to do here because what I'm saying is literally like I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being hyperbolic. Anyway, here we go. Speaking of bills under the Workers Deserve More agenda, you don't really have them anymore. You have no debt. You don't need health insurance. You don't pay a mortgage or have a landlord because comfortable housing is a human right. Your retirement is publicly funded. Food, education, energy, medicine, and transportation aren't for-profit businesses. They are common goods and utilities. So everything will just be totally free to everyone. Walk into the grocery store, take whatever food you want. Everyone will just get the social housing, will all just be funded by the government. Transportation, everything. You don't really have bills. You don't have to pay for anything. It's all just free. And everyone else is just the money for it will come somehow from somewhere. They'll just confiscate Elon's wealth and that'll fund it. Of course, not at all. That would fund like a little bit of our current spending, let alone every free for everyone all the time. But they genuinely have this utopian vision where everyone can just have nice things. There's no real trade-offs. Everything can be free for everybody. We'll all just have lollipops and unicorns. And they just totally ignore human nature and that people, don't have to work to provide for any of their needs, then they won't work, or at least won't work enough or in the jobs that people don't want to do. Think about it like this. Who is going to be on the oil rig, right? Well, I guess they also want to get rid of all the fossil fuels. But you get what I'm saying? Who's going to want to be the garbage man and go pick around garbage all day when you could just do nothing and you still get free housing, free food, free transportation, free health insurance, free retirement, free everything you could possibly need is just free? How is anything going to get done that isn't a hobby or a passion pet project? I guess people will write more poetry. But you get what I'm saying? A society cannot function like this. And the fact that they think otherwise is so childish and naive that it makes you wonder how these are even adults. It's like what a toddler's idea of like society should be like, because they're just like, oh, we could all just share and be nice. Anyway, they're open about their revolutionary anti-American ends in this document. They explicitly say we are workers fighting. Also, I'm sorry, pause. Y'all are workers. I just don't really believe that. Like, I would bet the employment rate of the people that run this organization and run, not the best. They're certainly not all hard day laborers. Okay. Anyway, we are workers fighting to transform society, to win the battle for democracy, draft a new constitution, and create a democratic socialist republic. So they actually are open about the fact that they want to take our constitution, take out a lighter, and light it on fire and destroy it. Our uniquely brilliant system of government that has made us one of the most prosperous and free large-scale human civilizations to ever exist. They're like, nah, it, let's start from scratch. We'll just get rid of all the stuff, which is not even a mechanism to do, by the way. So some of the things they want to do could not even be done via constitutional amendment. That's how insane they are. Anyway, so everyone's gonna have free recreation, free learning, free social spaces for all, free family leave, a 32-hour work week with full pay and benefits, living minimum wage. Can we just pause on that? Why the would I be doing a 32-hour work week? You're gonna take all my money anyway in taxes, and already everything's gonna be paid for that I need. Why would I be showing up to do 32 hours a week? Even that I wouldn't do. Most people wouldn't do. It's like, okay, super serious. Cancel all student debt, which means taxpayers pay it off. Yeah, sure, I should have to pay off the student loans with my tax dollars of lawyers and doctors making $500K who still have debt. It's just like so unserious. It's not even like, oh, we should have targeted relief for the people who are struggling to pay it back. It's like they fundamentally don't believe in the idea that you should, as a baseline expectation, pay your own way through life rather than take from others. That's why these people are alien to me. Like it's not a Venn diagram. It's two circles, our values and our alignment. Anyway, guarantee universal health care at no cost to individuals, including complete access to reproductive and gender-affirming care. So you're going to have unlimited free abortion and transing, even for kids, and all the taxpayers are going to pay for it all. To say nothing of the many problems that would come with, like, the free healthcare that they want. Not to say that our current system is at all okay, but we're going to do slavery reparations. They're going to enact slavery reparations. So you're going to get to lump up, turn over a bunch of your money to pay for some you didn't do, to pay somebody for something that didn't happen to them or their parent or their grandparent or their great-grandparent, because justice and karma or something. That's not at all evil or racist or dystopian. Pay up, whiteys. What are they going to... Wait, here's my question. Because later, we'll come to this, they want to abolish the police. Then how are you going to make me pay these reparations? Who's going to... You don't have any prisons to put me in if I don't pay. What are you going to do? Take away my housing? It's a human right, babe. You can't take away my human rights. Anyway, housing is a human right. It will have publicly owned social housing, universal rent control. What could go wrong? Just one of the most destructive and failed policies rejected out of hand by economists across the ideological spectrum. Sure, that'll go great. We're going to demilitarize police departments as quote, steps toward fully abolishing the police and prison system. I'm sorry, y'all are ridiculous. Y'all are absurd people if you don't understand that you're going to have an agent of some kind of the state that uses force to enforce the law, and that there's always going to be a certain percentage of the population. Now, we definitely incarcerate too many people in America for some things that people shouldn't be incarcerated for. However, there are in fact, in literally any human society, going to be people that kill others, that others, that commit heinous acts and are a danger to the public, and they need to be locked up. And if you don't realize that, then you are such a naive and unserious person that you have no business running a society, let alone redrafting a freaking constitution. Anyway, more from this document. This is my favorite line because it makes no sense. Socialist feminism fights for queer liberation and the freedoms of all working class women. All working class women. So if you're not a working class woman, like if you're a wealthy woman, they don't care about your freedom? Also, what if I'm just a non-working woman? Am I working class then? I'm not I'm not a woman, though I guess I could be. I could just declare myself one and be entitled to everything that I want in their society. But it's like, that's such an oddly specific thing. Like, imagine if I said, I support equality and freedom for all working class Black people. You'd be like, wait, what? You'd be like, why is the working class in there as a qualifier? That's just weird. Anyway, here's the immigration insanity. End ICE detention and deportations. Just end deportations. That's a quote from the DSA's agenda. Legalize migration. Grant amnesty for all immigrants, regardless of status, and end all visa caps and quotas. So, unironically, they are arguing for an open border where hundreds of millions of people could flood into the United States in a span of a couple years, and everyone gets amnesty. I guess that includes murderers and rapists and serious criminals and welfare fraudsters. We're not going to deport anyone, including people who are a danger to society. We're all just going to be kumbaya. Totally serious plan. I love this. It's like, because not only are they going to have universal rent control and heavily restrict investments in housing, they're also going to let hundreds of millions of people flood. And where are they going to live? Right? Because it's not even like, it would be too much. It would overwhelm the market. But if you actually had a free market for housing, theoretically, over time, the market could build more housing for more people to live in, and the population could grow a lot. But they're also going to totally disincentivize and regulate anyone from building housing while also importing potentially hundreds of millions of people unvetted, like regardless of status as well. It's just, what a disaster. What an unserious thing. Also, I'm sorry, but like, is that pro-worker? Would that not vastly drive down the wages of like unskilled labor? Wild. Defund the Department of War. So what? Like, the interesting thing is, they don't even say, and replace it with a military that's just going to protect America. It's like, are we just not going to have a military? Is that what they're saying? Is that serious? What? Anyway, more from the agenda. Replace the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress. If the Supreme Court is subordinate to Congress, then it doesn't need to exist, right? The whole point is that they're literally like, we don't want checks or balances on the unfettered democracy of the people's revolution, because the whole point of a Supreme Court is that it's going to tell your Congress, sorry, no, you can't do that, even though you voted to do that, even though you had a majority of votes. For example, the best example of this is the First Amendment. The whole point of the First Amendment and of the Supreme Court or the judiciary as a check on Congress or the will of the people is that even if 55% of people vote and want censorship laws that say no hate speech, no mean words or whatever, we put that into our Constitution for a reason, to take that off the table, so that just in the passions of the moment, people don't do crazy and dangerous things. And they're like, nah, let's get rid of that and just have the Supreme Court be subordinate to Congress. Then it doesn't need to exist, because then Congress is just policing itself, and their laws aren't being actually checked by another branch of government. Same with the president. Presidency is actually in some ways supposed to be subordinate to the Congress, and unfortunately it is not. Congress has become the least powerful branch of government of the three, and that's a real shame. But the solution is to just abolish the presidency. These people don't even make sense, because they are simultaneously demanding a growth in government unimaginable, like unthinkable on any scale we've ever seen in the centralized power, authority, and spending and control of government over American life and society and the economy. But they're also saying they want a weaker presidency. Those two things don't really go together at all, if your goal is to make sense, which I guess isn't really an issue for them. Anyway, I'm just going to speed run. Oh, they've got abolish the Senate, of course, which I don't even believe there's a constitutional mechanism to do. But anyway, establish public ownership of the largest corporations and essential industries, enact aggressive wealth taxes. Yeah, I'm sure that'll go great. It's worked out everywhere. They've tried it in Europe. Just kidding. A bunch of countries got rid of their wealth taxes because they backfired so spectacularly. But this is to connect this back to Bill Maher and what he said. It's like not exaggeration to call these people communists when they are actually saying the government should control what? Food, housing, healthcare, transportation, all major and essential industries. It's like, what's left? Are we going to have I don't know, you're still allowed to run a private lemonade stand from your lawn? Or even that, I guess, food is a human right, so that would include drinks. So you're going to have to give away that lemonade for free, little Timmy. It's like, they really, if not communism, why communism shaped? I'm not seeing a big or meaningful distinct difference between this and straight up communism. Yet this is the movement that is surging, that is getting members of the Congress and major Senate candidates advanced and taking over the Democratic Party. That is the ideological basis of and support system of one of the biggest and most beloved figures in the current Democratic Party, Zohran Mamdani. That is some crazy full stop, point blank, period. And kudos to Bill Maher for calling it out, but I really don't think nearly enough people are going to heed his warning. So I fear this train is continuing to head off the tracks. And we can see that where the tracks are down a little bit down the line have broken and are about to go off the cliff, but they're not pulling the emergency brake. They're like pressing the gas pedal and they're like, yeah, let's go. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know, guys. You'll have to tell me what you think in the comments below. Make sure subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button while you're at it, and do consider becoming a channel member. I call it the far left and the far right on this channel, and unfortunately, not always the best business model. You can make millions of dollars and blow up on YouTube if you just pander to one side, but I'm too opinionated and honest to do that. So I do need support from viewers like you. Become a channel member by hitting the join button or clicking the link in the pinned comment, and we'll leave it there for now, guys, and be back with more real soon.